Welcome everybody to Comic Shop News. I am Dan and I am solo tonight. I kind of didn't want to do this episode so early, but schedule being what it is, this was my one free night to do it. I'm sure a lot of people are out seeing Halloween Kills tonight or watching it at Peacock right now, which apparently has no 4K streaming on it. But I'm a huge fan of the series. It's my favorite horror series. Even the bad ones, like I literally woke up to Busta Rhymes kung fu kicking Michael out a window this morning. Um, I felt I needed to talk about this movie, and there, much like 2018, there's a lot to like. There's some parts to not like. Um, I wanted to give it a little bit to see if people start coming in. After 2 years, I did have a lot of excitement built towards this. I started this channel 3 years ago, and my first review was Halloween 2018. And to be perfectly honest, I was horrible. I was the worst. Um, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just knew I wanted to do it. And if you hear me umming now, I'm 10 times worse on those videos. One thing I will upfront talk about. So many of you in the know that for about a year and a half now, the script has been floating around online for Halloween Kills. And I believe they kind of went and did what they did with Scream 2. They went and changed the ending because I had read the script because I'm that dude. The ending of this movie is completely different than the original script. And last night, my co-host of Celluloid and Scotch messaged me saying that there was an announcement saying the original ending was going to be on the Blu-ray. As it is, Best Buy already has shown the art for their 4K Steelbook exclusive. And the art, of course, is beautiful. All the Steelbooks always have great art. So we already know what's coming with that. I don't know how fast the turnaround is going to be, but I'm a sucker. Like, I just bought all the 4K Halloween Blu-rays recently because I have to. And my Doonover co-host was like, "Don't you own like 5 of that?" Yes, I'm that guy. My collector thing kicks in, and I have to buy all of it. I will say Halloween 1 in 4K looks amazing. So let's start in on Halloween Kills. It's a bit uneven at parts. I'll walk through a bit of it, and if I'm going to try and stay away from spoilers as much as possible, it might be a little hard for me to do that. But we start at the movie with Cameron calling Oscar. Surprise, Oscar's dead. We knew that from the last movie. I did like Oscar's little voice message. It was kind of funny. And Cameron finds a mortally wounded Hawkins, who is played by Will Patton. Hey, how you doing? I'm glad you were able to make it. Hope you enjoyed the movie as well. I know you said you were seeing it today. So I like that this part led to where Cameron finds Hawkins, and it leads into a flashback of Hawkins as a rookie hunting down Michael on that night in 1978. And he's a nervous rookie. He's always a horrible shot, like a real horrible shot. But he kind of experiences Michael walking away from the house. There's more flashbacks that pop up. Hawkins, basically, he survives. He ends up being our flashback machine of that night. And something I thought was going to be really bad that I actually thought was good was their use of, I don't know if it was CGI Loomis or what the Loomis was, but if this was an actor that they kind of digitally went over, the facial expressions were perfect. There is a lot of borrowing from other movies and scripts. I'm pretty sure at a certain part in this movie, they stole something from the original Halloween 4 script that by Dennis Etchinson that was thrown out of. But in that one, Michael grew like 10 sizes as people became afraid. It's a little bit of Jason versus Freddy as well in this movie. The pacing in the movie is, there's parts where it gets to the hospital where it slows down, like to its detriment. I almost wish that Lori had been in a coma the whole movie and we didn't see her and stayed away from the hospital. I guess they needed to show the mob, and the mob is the hospital. Tommy Doyle is played by Anthony Michael Hall, which is weird seeing him go from the geek in movies in the 80s to then being in the Dead Zone to now playing older tough guy. So we also meet Lonnie Elam, Cameron's dad, and we have his night from the past where weirdly he was a bully and then he was bullied too. Interesting little dichotomy there, but they show his encounter with the Shape on that night as well, where he thought he was going to die. And fascinating, there's a little bit of monologue with, not even monologue, discussion about Michael between Hawkins as a rookie and his cop he was with, and how this other cop used to have to go have play dates with Michael, and he'd just sit upstairs and stare out the window, not really sure what he was looking at. I thought that kind of added a little. Weirdly, they kept pushing the sitting in the sister's room, looking at the mirror, looking out the window, and wondering what he was looking at. Was he looking at himself? There was some interesting parts to this, laying out a little bit more. As far as the acting, I saw some complaints about this. And I'll say, like, you go to a slasher movie, you're not expecting like an A24 film. There are some good moments, especially Judy Greer, I thought, had so much more to do in this one, and finally showing the emotional toll that the last like movie took on her, where she closes the door and she breaks down and kind of composes herself. Again, Andy Matichak as Allison, I didn't think really got the best lines. There are some good moments with her, but overall a little bit lacking. Lori had some good parts. My favorite people were the couple that was living in Michael's house that they gentrified and cleaned up, Little John and Big John. They were actually my favorite characters in this. I found them fascinating. Also, like, my big shout out, John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies. The score in this is fucking phenomenal. And of course, that's Carpenter. Like, say what you will about his movies, but the score is always just fantastic. Like, I don't know if this movie works without the score. I mean, the same could be said about the original Halloween, which early showings. Hey, Marcy, we're talking Halloween Kills right now. I might start going through the series. So, yeah, there was originally a test screening of Halloween without Carpenter's score. And in that, the people said, well, this movie isn't scary. And then once the score was in, it completely changed the tone of the movie. Also, if there's any information you ever want to know, there is a series of books called Taking Shape. Taking Shape 2 is all about all the unmade sequels. And then Taking Shape 1 was about all the problems with everything else with the movies. Halloween 6 takes up a lot. There is a lot of backstory to that movie. So, James Jude Courtney playing Michael in this movie. It's Nick Castle and then James Jude Courtney. James Jude Courtney has the mannerisms of Nick Castle, but also the ferocity and just violence of the Tyler Mane, Rob Zombie, Michael Myers, just not built as big. But I thought James Jude Courtney did a fantastic job in this, which, I mean, it's a stuntman who doesn't talk, so take what you will out of it. I thought it was good. The movie was just absolutely violent. Michael was like a caged animal. Some of there was a ferocity to him that we hadn't seen in quite a while. And I know it's stupid talking about like, oh, it was so great because it was so violent, but like there were scenes in it where when there were kills, like I was actually kind of jarred, and him taking exceptional joy in killing certain people. The older couple that you saw in the trailer, like he's like just taking joy. There's some gag setups in it that I thought were well done, especially with him recreating a picture of a couple, but then kind of mixing it up and laying them out dead to posed as the picture. Lonnie Elam was an interesting character. I thought he'd be in it longer. I was okay with him. Also, Tommy Doyle, I don't know. Like I thought he'd be used better, and he's kind of. I feel like he'd be a Trump fan. I don't know why. It's just the whipping up the mob. Like he was basically the local Fox News, whipping everybody into a frenzy. Trying not to get political on here, but that's just kind of like the first thing I thought of. Movie moved real fast, except for the hospital scenes. The hospital scenes just were a detriment to this, in my opinion. I could have done without all of it, especially the mob chasing through the halls, and it didn't move the story. It just felt like filler. And again, huge detriment to this movie. There were a little bit of humor in it, not a whole lot, and I don't think it was meant to be. This is almost like the Empire Strikes Back of the series. It's very grim. It's very morbid. They also said, fuck it, he's supernatural in this one. I don't think that's really a spoiler. I mean, goddamn it, he got lit on fire. I was a little disappointed that they showed that whole firefighter scene in the trailer. So yeah, the mob thing, it was pointless. It just really was pointless. I get what they were trying to do, but I feel like them doing it inside the hospital was kind of dumb. I would have rather seen them out in the streets how it originally looked like, instead of Tommy going to the hospital and whipping up everybody into a frenzy. But I do think a lot of that was to show how Michael has infected the town with almost madness. Very much so, like a theme of this was everybody who he has encountered or touched in some way has been affected and like stayed with them their whole life. Like his evil is a sickness, and they kind of go into that premise quite a bit. I just wish they had handled it a little bit better. It was a little bit clumsy. The person I went to the movie with, she started falling asleep during those scenes, and I had to kind of nudge her to wake her up. Once that hospital stuff ends and they're at Michael's old house, like shit hits a whole other level. There are some stupid fucking things in this movie that drive me insane. Like repeatedly, they know every time his mask comes off, he kind of winds down a little bit. Why the fuck they let him put it back on before going sick house on him is just, bro. Also, thank you for stopping by. So, bro, the fucking people were stupid in this fucking town. Like literally, like the dumb ass shit they fucking did. Repeat. And I was just talking about how they let him put his mask back on before beating the shit out of him. And like, I literally like turned to the person I was with and was like, just take the motherfucker's head off. I know like the Akkads will never let that happen, but seriously, like go full on Dracula with it, cut the head off, burn it, do whatever the fuck you have to do. But, like, I also rooted for Michael to a certain degree. Like, it's just, I kind of felt like he just wanted to sit up in his house and be left alone for a year. And they were just like bothering him. Again, I thought James Jude Courtney as Michael, the movements, I felt like he studied Nick Castle the way he moved. And I know he like said that in the last movie he studied cats, which is weird to say. Like he looked at the way cats move. But again, like just the aggressive violence in this one, where like if you had told me Rob Zombie's choreographer had done this movie, I would have believed you, because it was the same, except without it like grunting every time it stabbed, going. I couldn't stand that in the Rob Zombie movies. Again, the ending I thought was pretty. I actually stayed to see if there was a post-credit scene, because the ending was very abrupt. And after now knowing that it was reshot and it's a different ending, there was just something to it. Also, there was an awesome homage shot to the original where Allison falls down the stairs, but they showed it at a different angle. Where in the original movie, they had the camera on the bungee cord showing the going down the stairs. Nope, fuck that. They just showed her flying down the stairs and break her leg, and with an audible snap. Foley artist who did the sound in this did a fantastic job. Like, I was very impressed with the sound effects, and like every time you heard Michael pull a knife, you heard the shing shing. There were some physics I did not believe in. Hey, Gore. Michael taking the tube light, I believe it was a T12, breaking it and shoving it in the lady's neck. I don't believe it would have held up doing that, but it's a movie, so I just happen to sell them at work, and I know how brittle they are. A lot of the complaints are they spent millions on this movie, and the acting's not great, the script isn't great. And I think part of it is that you have to work within a structure of what the ACODs will allow to happen. I think they learned their lesson after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where they're like, do whatever the fuck you want. And then they're like, what did you just do? They always hire kind of unknown actors. I think this is the one that has the most like known actors in it, especially longtime actors. I like that they brought back all these old actors and actresses from the past. For me, I think it's still just like Halloween 2018. There are things to its detriment, but there's also things that I really enjoy. I'd say probably like a 7.5 on this. Story-wise, I did read that Halloween Ends will be a time jump. I don't know how many years, but they said it's going to be a couple of year time jump. And Jamie Lee Curtis already said that it's going to be an ending that's probably going to irritate people, which kind of makes me excited a little bit. I'd love for anybody in the chat to throw in some thoughts on this, and let's talk about, hell, even if you want to talk about some of the older movies, I am game. Because I just rewatched Halloween 3 today, and I'm still sure to this day, if it had not been called Halloween 3 and just came out as Season of the Witch, it would be a cult classic. Also, fuck yeah, Tom Atkins. And again, if nobody has read it, the Taking Shape books, if you are into the whole Halloween series and want to know the history of, there's some great interviews. And the other book is all about the unmade sequels and horrible stuff. The Season of the Witch poster, not the Season, the Friday the 13th poster was part of the box set pre-order. There's another one that's too big for any frame that I can find. Also, I loved all the homages to Season of the Witch in here with the Halloween 3 masks. The pumpkin, the witch, and the skull, and I like that. And also on the back of one of them showed the silver shamrock tag. Someone zoomed in on it and pulled up the picture, and it's fantastic. Season of the Witch, like, really, honestly, like, got fucked because it just didn't have Michael Myers in it. And I think it would be regarded like Trick or Treat is now, had it come out as just Season of the Witch. And I said earlier, like, I woke up and I turned on AMC to Michael Myers getting kicked out a window by Busta Rhymes. I love that movie. It's so bad, it's funny. And Busta Rhymes just, like, eats the scenery. Like, just, I don't know who, like, was like, you know what? Busta Rhymes is going to karate kick Michael out a window, and also unhook an electrical box, take the wires, and shock Michael to death in the dick and balls. Yeah, Halloween 3, like, I felt bad for Tommy Lee Wallace because, like, that kind of fucked him up in his career a little bit till he did that It miniseries. And apparently, like, they pissed off the original writer because they rewrote it because it was too grim. That's quality, right? Like, again, like, someone was like, everybody loved LL Cool J and H2O. So fuck it, Busta Rhymes is going to be in this, and he's going to drink champagne instead of saying salute is going to say saloon. Fuck, man, like Dangertainment for life. Cheers. Grant Morrison, I honestly would love to see Grant do a season of the witch type story, even a sequel. Like, I'd love to know what happened to Cochran. Yeah, Colin Cochran. I think that was the name of the guy. The season of which the Silver Shamrock boss. I'd kind of like to see them do a story about what happened to him, because I don't know if he died or just got teleported. I think there's a little bit more on the bone to that story that could be done, or like what happened afterward. I know it's kind of a choose your own adventure, but I also love that Tom Atkins called one place and was able to get all the networks on in one call. What was I going to say? I thought for a minute in this movie they were going to say who Karen's father was. I really thought they were going to say it was Will Patton Hawkins from A One Night Stand. And I was like, oh, that'll be interesting, because that would be a weird story subplot to throw in for Karen. Like, hey, Karen, by the way, this is your dad who almost died. But then they threw in Ben Tramer, who some will famously remember got exploded in Halloween 2. In one of the weirdest fucking deaths I've ever seen. 2 issues. Really, I am so behind on Hellblazer. There's large chunks of that book that I completely missed. Boy, I'm dancing around a lot of this to avoid spoilers, because again, I really didn't want to do this after it being out a day, figuring most people are going to see it today. But I have 2 live streams tomorrow, and I'm back to work on Sunday, so it just felt like this was the night to do it. I don't know where this would be in my. I know some people have put it as. I saw someone put it as their top movie of 2021 so far, and I don't think I can agree with that. I feel that's being caught up in the moment a little bit. Even in my Halloween rankings, I don't know how high I would put this one. I have this weird love affair still for the original Halloween 2. I know Halloween 5 is pretty like low on my rankings. It's near last. Like, I think I have. Ooh. So this is a great question. I am a huge Donald Pleasance fan. I thought Donald Pleasance brought so much to the part. But at the same time, I really enjoyed Malcolm McDowell. Watched nothing of Donald Pleasance. Like, he literally watched none of the original Halloweens. He kind of brought his own take on it. Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, though, made my opinion change on that Loomis, because when he went on the TV show with Weird Al and Chris Hardwick, that pretty much ended things for me. I mean, what's there to say about Donald Pleasance? I mean, even through the bad movies, Donald Pleasance brought his A game to it. He brought a bit of class to it. And a weird aside, though, there was a script for the people who made The Collector. Oh, like Tom Atkins, his prime role. If you haven't seen Night of the Creeps, Tom Atkins is at his best. He is fucking fantastic in that movie. So it was called Halloween Returns. The writer and director of the Collector Collection movies were going to be doing that, and it was going to be Michael on death row getting out, and it was going to be another doctor, Dr. Rogers and Deputy Hunt, and Michael getting out from death row and going after their kids. And at the end of it, there was going to be like a post-credit scene, and it was going to be Dr. Rogers in there, and Loomis shows up saying, "I told you, you couldn't kill evil." And as they walked up, it was going to reveal it was Gary Oldman playing Loomis. I don't know if they had ever actually talked to him to get him cast, but that's who they wanted. And I started thinking, I was like, Gary Oldman as Loomis would have been fucking fantastic. Like, and I know like they probably wouldn't have gotten him. Like, it would end up being Jason Statham, which, again, you know what? Now that we're talking about it, I think I would dig Jason Statham as Loomis. Like, it would just be an action story. We like Loomis in an action movie chase, like Fast and the Halloween. The I don't know. Like, I have a weird love thing for Jason Statham. He's so bad that he's humorous to me, and I can't stop watching his movies. Like the Transporter movies were a huge fucking deal. And then when he said he was going to be a marine biologist in the Meg, fuck yeah, sign me up. It's so fucking ridiculous. I couldn't not see it. But yes, to answer your question, Donald Pleasance to me he's still the gold standard for it. I mean, the guy worked in Halloween 6 until he died. And then the asshole producer was like, you know, I think he's boring. Let's cut all his fucking scenes out of it and get more Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd wasn't even a thing yet. Like, Clueless had weirdly gotten out before that. And I'm going on a weird rant about this because there's tons of documentaries about what went on Halloween 6. There's a great one on YouTube by Leighton Eversole, doing it behind the scenes of everything. And Daniel Farron's, the writer, went on. Also, if you look at it, 4, 5, and 6 were all Pink Panther titles. Return, Revenge, Curse. Yep, all Pink Panther. Probably don't know how much more I have to talk about this except for like everybody you wanted to die got a pretty gruesome death. When the town basically mob goes after Michael and goes sick house on him, like you kind of know what's gonna happen. Like, I don't need to say about it, but Michael keeps catching some Rocky Balboas in the head, and he gets shot repeatedly. He gets beaten with a stick, with a bat, with, if you name it, he got hit with a pillowcase full of bricks. Which, by the way, the little fuckers, the trick-or-treaters, fuck them. Like, seriously, I hated those kids. Like, they were horrible. And I was like, like, if they were in my neighborhood, I probably would have shaving creamed them just because. And I'm way older and I shouldn't be doing that, but I would have. And if you lived in New York, you understand what the shaving cream is. That was a huge thing when I lived up there. Older kids would terrorize the younger kids and shaving cream them. So I'm at that point of would I recommend? Sure, yeah, especially it's $10 on Peacock right now. Is it one that you need to see in the theater? Probably not. Like, I don't feel that way. It didn't strike me as that. But I will say during the trailers, the new Guillermo del Toro movie, Antlers, about the Wendigo, holy shit, that looked fantastic. There was also another trailer with Ethan Hawke in it. Yes, indeed. There was another trailer of an Ethan Hawke movie where it kind of reminded me of Stir of Echoes a little bit, but Ethan Hawke is a magician like around town, and it looked like it's taking place in the 80s, and he's kidnapping kids, and the kid is like getting help from ghosts of his former victims. Completely interesting. And again, like it reminded me of Stir of Echoes, which you haven't seen Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon. It's a pretty great fucking movie. Like and it was during that time where Kevin Bacon was kind of not relevant when it came out, and I thought he was fantastic in that. Oh, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Again, I think I'm at like 7.5 on this. 2018 might be better paced, but this has more action in it. I don't think there's a shot in this that was as good as the one shot following Michael in from house to house, like in the last one in 2018. David Gordon Green does a great job. I also thought less jokey than 2000. It's like they told Danny McBride to like slow it down a little bit. There is a part where Lonnie tells the story about Allison's father, and he's like, "Yeah, he used to sell drugs." Where in the first one, he said Lonnie sold him drugs, and then talk about them getting high on peyote out in the water. Thank you, Sith Lordly. Yeah, if it hasn't been clear, I'm a huge Dune fan, and Thursday night I have tickets for the premiere for IMAX, so I'm pretty excited. And Saturday night we're doing a live stream with Comics Will Break Your Heart, Scott Hazelwood, and a couple of others, and we're going, and of course Carlito is going to be there with us talking about Denis Villeneuve's new epic. And I can't say how excited I am to see that, because I've waited for a good version of this movie for a long time. Oh, I'm very anxious. Varangi and Vigilante actually saw it already, and he had messaged me saying that it was everything he ever wanted. And then seeing an article about a Dune super fan who saw it and got chills throughout the whole movie. Can I be let down at certain parts? Yeah. I keep looking at the cast and think there's no way that this could be bad. And Denis Villeneuve, I know people fucking shit all over Blade Runner 2049 because it's slow. I don't care. It's a beautiful movie. Villeneuve is a fantastic director, and honestly, he might be this generation's Ridley Scott. Which also, Ridley Scott's Last Duel is fucking tanking in the theaters. 315,000 on opening night. Like, yikes. And supposedly it's great. Maybe it's just not what people want to watch right now. I don't know. I will watch it eventually, because Ridley Scott's one of those directors. Everything he puts out, I will watch. Same with Jim Cameron. Just because you want to see what they're doing. I know Carlito and I talked about this once before, about who's that director that you follow that, like, even if you don't like it, you got to check it out. Like, there's a bunch that Jim Cameron, Spielberg, I'll usually check out what he's doing. Quentin Tarantino is another one. I will always check out what they're doing. And of course, Carlito's Lord and Savior, Christopher Nolan. Nolan, I love the chances he takes, and he kind of has a, I don't care if people go watch this, but this is going to be beautiful in the theater. I felt Dunkirk was that movie of like, this is my passion project. And of course, Inception is, I think, his best movie. I know some people say it's a certain other one, but you know, I don't want to get into that argument right now. First film, it might have been my Ridley Scott stuff doesn't go back that far. It's weird though, like after reading how Ridley Scott was supposed to do the original Dune movie, but his brother died, so he backed out of it. Like, what would that movie have been like instead of having David Lynch do it? All right, guys, we're at the 35-minute mark. I think I've droned on enough. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in and hearing my rambling thoughts. I appreciate it very much. And of course, Sith Lordly, go check him out with the Spine Ticks and go subscribe. Always a great show. I don't always get to watch it, unfortunately, because my schedule, but appreciate what the hell you guys are doing. And Inja, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And Gore also, Carlito, all my peoples. Tomorrow we're doing a double shot. Early on, Carlito and I will be talking about Seven. If anybody feels like they want to come on and join us, just reach out to myself or Carlito and we can get you on if you have a lot to say about that movie. And at night, that's at 7:00 p.m. Eastern. And at 9:00, Jennifer, possibly Sid, and Scott and I are finishing up Dune Messiah and finishing season 2 of the Dune Over. That's probably end up running for 2 hours. So I'll probably be drunk by hour 1. So again, thank you very much, guys. Take care and go enjoy the movie. And go to the movies. It was fun. It was nice being back. And I will be at Dune Thursday night, so expect a lot of rambling. Bye.